Okay, let's meditate. Watch your breath. Come to the golden moon. Watch for agitation or dullness. Don't get cocky. Mind is tied to object. There's no other object. Look outside the window, the blue sky, broad blue sky. Keep up your watchfulness. Don't lose your watchfulness. And down to the mountains, the valley. And back to the golden room. Ask your teacher to come sit with you. The golden sunlight is pouring in, touching you both. Sit, be content, be satisfied. Feel like you could stay there with your teacher indefinitely. Feel their presence. You don't have anywhere to go, there's nothing else to do. As we extend the sessions, then it's more likely that you'll have dullness or agitation and not be able to catch it. Bring back your effort. Bring back your effort and be vigilant. And try to bring up a sense of nara, sense of enjoyment, sense of pleasure. And slowly come back to this room. And slowly open your eyes. So we were discussing you were on the subject of +9, right? You got to level 9. SEMS, Chikpa, Shine, Jetumba. Still in the desire realm. Say Chikpa, single pointed, effortlessly. Shine, Jetumba. Approximation of Shamata. But not quite Shamata yet. Then there are a couple of things going on up here, okay? And 29, he's attaining Shamata, okay? At 29, he's attaining Shamata. But really, I think all three are happening around the same time, okay? 29, 30, 31. 30 is Lu Shinjang, bodily Shinjang, okay? Bodily mastery accompanied by sort of a bodily high. Okay? They say Shinbel. Shinbel means light as a feather. Shinbel means cotton. Shinbel Tar means your body feels light as a feather. So that's why he's flying in the air. And then he's sitting on the mountain. He's riding the elephant. He's controlling the elephant. That's SEM Shinjang. That's mental Shinjang. So the monk flying is bodily mastery and bodily high pleasure in meditation. And then sitting on the elephant is mental mastery of your meditation and mental high pleasure. And those are what distinguish Shamata from level 9. Okay, you have to go through Shinjang. And I promised you a pranic description of what was going on. Okay, and all that Pabongka Rinpoche says is Deyang Luki Nengen Len Ki Lung Shiwe. That Nengen Len. Say in your mind, okay? Nengen Len. It's kind of hard, like something shell shores at the seashore. Nengen Len. Nengen Len Ki Lung. Nengen Len Ki Lung. Ne means place or condition. Ngen means bad, okay? Len means take on. And lung means prana. Okay? So Nengen Lenki lung means prana that would cause you to take on a bad condition. Okay? Prana that would cause you to take on a bad condition. And then he says, Shiva. That is pacified. Or they are put to rest. Okay? Shanti. Okay? They are put to rest. So the pranas in the body that would cause you to take on a negative condition are put to rest, and that triggers Shinjang. Okay? So something's happening to certain pranas in your body between level 9 and real shamatha. So somehow you have to affect some change in subtle pranas in your body between level 9 and Shinjang. Okay, so then he doesn't really much go on. He doesn't describe that much. So what I did was I used our database. Our database means we have a project called ACIP for 24 years now. And they find rare texts. There were 5,000 libraries in Tibet were destroyed during the Cultural Revolution. So very few texts were left. And we found huge repositories of texts in Japan and Russia and Mongolia. There's also some in Beijing and still some in Tibet. So anyway, any country where, and some in India, so any country where we could get a scan or a copy of a text, we did. And that's about, in Russia, we spent 14 years in the library there and cataloged 130,000 texts. And we still haven't scanned those. We didn't have time yet to scan them. So we've done about 1 million pages, and that's about 5% of what we have to do. So I figure another 150 years or something, depending on funding. Okay, but what it means is just the 1 million pages that we have put in already, which are in my computer, and which are free online. Okay, so we put them free online. You can go in and look up NGAN Lenki Lung and get a better description of it. You can go through 2,500 years of literature and see how it developed, the idea of that special kind of prana. So this is kind of what I spend a lot of my time doing. I go dig for a better explanation. And my hope is that we could, a lot of the ancient texts are corrupt, and we're slowly cleaning them up. Several thousand years of corruption we are cleaning up. And then translate them. Teach people to translate them. And then teach them like this. Make them practical. People can use them. And then do secondary works like the Diamond Cutter Business book or something like that. So that's one sutra out of 200,000. And 3 million people are using that. So my hope is that your generation, you could be working on, you could take a teaching like this, either in Tibetan or in English, and then you could regurgitate it for your own peers, that you could recast it in Paris or wherever you live. And you could turn it into your own language, and you could adjust it for your own friends or your own circle, and then it would, those ancient classics could become accessible to everybody in the modern world. So you have to reinterpret what I'm doing, and then you have to present it in your own context. Maybe you teach in a yoga class, or maybe you teach a small Dharma group, or maybe you teach business people, or whatever. In your own country and in your own way, you adjust it. Okay. So, but my idea is you go from the original sources very carefully, and then you synthesize and modify and make it accessible to modern people. I imagine that in the end there would be a lot of little videos or cartoons, or the best explanation of quantum physics I ever saw was a little cartoon. So maybe there could be a cartoon on the 9 levels or something, I don't know, or a drama, I don't know. So you have to, my hope is that based on those ancient classics, we take an idea like these subtle pranas that throw you into high pleasure during meditation. And then you work on that. Maybe you develop a yoga series for those, or, like that. Okay. So anyway, I went through a bunch of quite old texts, and over a period of a couple thousand years. And I thought I would just read you selections that explain that kind of prana. And then you get a feeling for what ACIP is doing. It's mostly refugee women, and they're sitting there typing all day for 24 years now. And now you can see how we use it. Okay, so here's the first one. This is from a text by the third Panchen Lama. It's called Tilen, which means his students were asking him questions. And these are his replies. So he's explaining a certain famous 8 lines of praise which go Mukje, Renje, Mongje, Kunli number Gel. Okay? Some of you may know. Okay? And he says, Mukje means the tendency of the mind to go dark. Mukpa means fog. Mukje means the tendency of the mind to go dark. Renje means the tendency of the mind to go a little bit too hyper. Okay? And Mongje means the tendency of the mind to just black out and get really stupid. Okay? Mongje. Kunle Nabar Gyal means there's a certain angel who helps us overcome those three tendencies of the mind. He's explaining a very special, almost a mantra. And he's explaining that line. You know, you help us overcome all confusion, hyperness, and darkness of the mind. And then he says, it's because she has the capacity when she has the capacity to help you stop your NGAN Lenki lungs. Okay? So there's already just one little piece of information. For people who are familiar with that other practice, she's able to help you stop those like hyper mind, hyper busy mind, or dull mind, or dark mind. She has the capacity to stop those because Nangdu means within you. She's able to reach in within you and shut down those subtle winds which are causing that, which are called prana of taking on a bad condition. Okay? That's all. Dorje Pamo Jorchen du Wangma Ladu. Then he says, Dorje Pamo Jorchen du Wangma Ladu. Okay? And if you don't know what that means, you're not supposed to. Okay. Then we go to this is one of the Changkya Rinpoches. This is a Sinti. Sinti means he gave a teaching on the Lamrim. I believe sometime in the 18th century. And here's his explanation. Okay? This is kind of long, and I'm just going to take you through all of them because I enjoy them. I think the tradition, our lineage's tradition is when you hit a tough spot, like NGAN Lenki Lung, you stop and you spend half a day on it. You know what I mean? It's our tradition, Tsongkhapian tradition, that when you get to something you don't understand, you don't skip it. You stop until you understand it, and maybe until you understand it better than the rest of the stuff. That's just the Tsongkhapa thing. So here we go. The ninth level of meditation is an approximate shamatha. Yinxing. They say Shinjang cha tamo yepa. And it is true that at that time you do have a very little touch of Shinjang. Okay? Even at level 9, you have a subtle, cha tamo means a very tiny sliver. You have a sliver of Shinjang. Okay? Rimki gompel to soma. And then slowly that Shinjang begins to increase. In slow, gradual stages, it begins to increase. You go pel to soma. Gel le, and because of that, gewa la kang du de kul du miru and nengen leng shine. Because of that, you are able to put to rest the nengen leng lungs, the pranas, which make you take on bad states. And then he describes them in a very classical way. So if you want to know what those pranas do, those little nasty, we can call them little nasty pranas, okay? How about that? Little nasty pranas. By the way, he's going to talk about where they are, how they circulate, how to shut them down, okay? But their function is classically described in these words. Gewala kang du de kul du mirunga. When those subtle, nasty pranas are flowing, you are unable to, what do you call it? You are unable to inspire yourself to goodness. Okay? You are unable to move yourself to goodness. Okay? When those little nasty pranas are moving, you find yourself unable to, what do you call it? Move yourself to do goodness. Right? So that's pretty much their function. Okay? Then if you get Shinjang, you can put those to rest. Shine, semge Shinjang ke. Then you get mental Shinjang. Okay? So he's saying you get mental mastery first. Mental Shinjang comes first. Okay? Fluency or mastery or whatever you want to call it. Okay? Accompanied by high pleasure. Okay? The mental one comes. Day 2, we're describing what's happening to you between level 9 and Shamata. Okay? It's pretty heavy stuff. Heady stuff? Okay. Day 2, LRLUNG ki lung, lula gyupe. Due to that, the little good guy pranas begin to circulate. And their name in Tibetan is LRLUNG. Okay? LRLUNG, a lot of people in the room know the word LRLUNG because it's the word used for a tantric retreat. A tantric mantra retreat in Tibetan is called LRLUNG. But it's called LRLUNG because that's an abbreviation for the word Lesaruma. Lesaruma means fit for duty. You know, fit for duty. Ready to do what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? LRLUNG. Like if you're in the military and you've trained them people well, you know, they know weapons, they know running, they know everything. They're called LRLUNG. They're fit for duty. They're like ready to go, ready to serve. LRLUNG. So tantric retreats are called Lesaruma because they make you fit for higher things. Okay? They prepare you, they make you ready for higher things. But the subtle winds which move in the body between level 9 and Shamata that bring on Shamata are called LRLUNG ki lung. The pranas of LRLUNG. The pranas of readiness. Okay? LRLUNG ki lung. Lula gyupa means they begin to circulate throughout the body. Gyupe, and because of that, Luki Nengen Lendan Telne, you become free of negative states of body, physical negative states. Okay? Nengen Len. Okay? Telne. Beltar Yangwa Shinjang ke. Then you get bodily Shinjang, which is up here. The guy flying, right? You get bodily Shinjang. Beltar, where is that? Beltar Yang. Yang means light. Beltar means cotton. Light as a cotton ball. But in English we say light as a feather. Right? You feel like your body's flying. Right? Or rising up off your meditation cushion. Okay? Shinta Beltar Yangbe Shinjanke. Day 2, due to that, Lula Dewe Nyam Chemboke, you get a rush of pleasure through your body. Okay? You get rushes of pleasure coming through your body. Okay? So if you notice, I want to, it's sort of a circular thing. Okay? First, you overcome nasty pranas, okay? Due to the subtle increase of Shinjang. You overcome nasty pranas. They cause a mental Shinjang, okay? They trigger certain good winds passing through your body. And then they trigger a freedom from nasty winds, right? And then bodily you feel light, and then because of that you feel a physical pleasure. Okay, so he's trying to describe this thing where it starts in the mind. Something happens in the mind, and that affects the nasty winds. That causes good winds to flow. That causes the body to feel light, and that causes a pleasure in the body. Remember yesterday we said, first you get the mental Shinjang, was it? Then that brings on the bodily Shinjang. That brings on the pleasure of the bodily Shinjang, and that brings on the pleasure of the mental Shinjang. Okay? So you have what was it? Mental mastery. Due to a change in the pranas, becomes physical mastery, which brings on a physical bliss, which in turn creates a mental bliss. Okay? Mental, physical, physical, mental. Okay? Mental, physical, physical, mental. Try to go to the NGAN lantern during the two lane during. And because of the pleasure you feel in your body after it got light, okay? Shinjang made it light. Then came on a sensation of pleasure, okay? De tu yide nyam ki sem Shinjang ki dewa ke. And then because your body feels so good, you get mental pleasure, okay? So to trace it backwards, mental pleasure is triggered by physical pleasure, is triggered by physical adeptness, is triggered by mental adeptness. Okay, like that. Alright? Anyway, you feel physically and mentally cool. Alright. De tu yi de nyang Shinjang de okay. Deyan lu Shinjang ke ma tak tu sem. This is interesting, okay? Right after you get the physical sensation that you feel like you could fly. By the way, I mean, in practice, this infects your whole day, right? If you reach a physical Shinjang during your sessions, then all day weird stuff will be happening to you, okay? Like the body becomes very straight. You're always sitting up straight. You feel pleasure in sitting up straight. I always think of the military academy, and these guys required to sit on the front half of the chair up straight. And that's, chronically, that's a very smart thing to do. It's a very, it would work to make the mind more clear, okay? So, when you reach states of Shinjang, you'll know it, because physically you'll feel better. And that's where yoga helps a lot, okay? Yoga strengthens the body, yoga opens the channels, and then you'll just find yourself going into these little patches during the day of like rushes and straight upness, straight uprightness, something like that. You're always straight upright like that. You might also, by the way, it doesn't say it here, but you also might find yourself at these states getting into Kevala Kumbhaka, which is the spontaneous suspension of the breath. During these stages of your practice, level 9 and around there, you might start finding that your breath stops spontaneously for 5, 6, 10, 15 minutes, okay? You don't breathe for 10 or 15 minutes. And you're just not aware of it, really, like you're sitting in a library or something, and you're in a state, sort of semi-meditation, and then you realize you haven't breathed for 10 minutes, something like that. De tu yide nyam ki sem Shinjang ki dewa ke. Lu Shinjang ke ma taktu. Right after you get the feeling of physical Shinjang, right, which is where your body feels light or straight. Na taktu. By the way, that would also mean that if your posture is bad all the time, it's probably really hurting your meditation. If you got close to level 9 and your posture was always stooped over, then you'd have trouble moving on to Shamata. Okay, so I mean, just yogis are always... Okay, I find ballet helps a lot, or some kind of, what do you call it? Something that works on your alignment. Kima talk to Semga Yel Yelwa Jungla, Detse Shine Chungma Top. You begin to get... let me see. You begin to get a little too high. Okay? These are very subtle. These are very subtle, right? We're like this. Okay? And, you know, you're like, oh, my body feels like cotton. And then your mind goes a little, tiny bit too high. Yel yel do. Shine chung matop. And that blocks the shamatha slightly. Okay? That obstructs the shamatha. You get a physical rush, then you get a corresponding mental overrush. Slight, very, very subtle. And then it sort of prevents you from the shamatha, which is about 3 seconds away. Okay? Then that high resides. Sorry, what do you call it when a wave it yeah. When a wave crashes and then it settles. Yeah, ebb is good. That's good. Ebb is good. That I never would have thought of that, no matter how much you would have. Okay. The highness, the mental highness ebbs slightly. Okay, this is cool. This whole process is cool. Somebody should translate this. Songne. Sem mikbala hlene depe tinginsen. Then you go into a state where the mind is starting to sink into the object. Okay? The mind starts to sink into the object. Okay? And then the mind continues to melt into the object, and then you get a corresponding, what do you call it? Your Shinjang becomes imperturbable. Okay? Shinjang becomes Myoa, right? Akshobhya. It becomes unmovable. Okay? Myoa, Toba, Dang, Du Nyamdu. In that moment where, I'm going to cry, where, in that moment, Du Nyamdu, Sam Ten Damba Nir Doki Dube Shinedu. Sam Ten Damba Nir Doki Dube Shinedu. You achieve Shamata. That's Shamata. You just hit Shamata after all these days of this stupid chart. Okay? Number 28. Okay? You hit Shamata. You hit Shamata. That's cool. The last few seconds. He's describing the last few seconds. You get a rush. You get a little too high. It ebbs a bit, and you hit Shamata. Okay? You hit Shamata. And it's all pranic. It's all pranic. Which is why we're doing yoga, okay? But then don't forget, he said Samten Dhamma Nirdoki Dupa. So you should say, now it's time to say in your head, Samten Dhamma Nirdok Mi Chok Me. Samten Dhamma Nirdok Mi Chok Me. Okay? Very, very important. This is the meditative platform required to see emptiness directly. Okay? It's the special rifle scope, the special model, the special production series that you must get to see emptiness directly. You can think of meditation as a huge spectrum of mental states. You can think of meditation like going from, I don't know, what is it, red to yellow, like thousands of colors of meditation. Only one of those slices is the one you need to see emptiness directly. And this is it. Okay? You got to be able to get to that one tiny slice of meditation which will enable you to see emptiness directly. And it's only that. Samten Damba Nirdom Michome. Okay, so we got to talk about what's that. Right, we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it in a little bit. We'll do it today sometime. Okay? Anyway, Samten means dhyana. Okay, Samten means dhyana. Samten is one of the words for meditation. But it specifically refers to the causal form realm meditation. What does that mean? The meditation that if you spend a lot of time in it in this life, and then you died, you would be born into that form realm. Okay? So it's called form realm meditation. Not because you're in the form realm, but because if you did it a lot in this life, and then you died, you would be born into that temporary paradise. Okay? So that state of mind in itself, if you just left it at that, it's not so useful. It's just a tool. Okay? It's just a tool. It's a deep state of meditation. Mentally, you are out of the desire realm for the first time in your life. Okay? Mentally, you are no longer in the desire realm. Meaning, if some boy came up and kissed you, or if somebody put French fries in front of your nose, you're beyond it. Okay? Your mind is past that. Okay? That's important. Okay? And we'll talk more about it. Nirdok means, we'll talk more. I'm going to do that later. Anyway, you achieve a shamatha, which is included within the form realm, okay? Which is part and parcel of the form realm in a causal sense. Shinedun. Dende shine de chinang nike tinginzen tumo yinshin. This type of shamatha is both an inner and an outer meditative capacity. Dagme tokpe tawa don tapa dunya ngenjing di sambe sina. If you undertake this level of concentration combined with a view of emptiness. So do you sense that we're about to combine the two flows of teaching of this retreat, right? Okay. Here it comes. Hey. If your mind is imbued with the correct view of that there's no nit, right? And if you truly seek for freedom, if your mind is full of compassion for other beings and you want to save the world from suffering, take Chengi Lam Dugyon, then this shamatha becomes Mahayana. Then this shamatha becomes the state of mind of those who wish to save the world. Okay? Otherwise, it's just a neutral thing, right? It's just a state of concentration. If at those moments, why do they say imbued with that? Why do they say imbued with that? As you get close to a direct perception of emptiness, you can't think about saving the world because that's not emptiness. Why? Well, simply, that's a positive thing. And emptiness is an absence of something. Those two states, a human mind, a non-enlightened mind, cannot concentrate on an absence and a presence at the same time. Not possible. An enlightened mind can. Okay? But a human mind, a non-enlightened human mind cannot. So they say, you are close to seeing emptiness directly, or you are seeing emptiness directly. You can't feel compassion at that time because compassion is a positive thing. It's not an absence of something. But your mind can be imbued with it. Your mind can be soaked in that compassion, and then you go into the direct perception of emptiness, or you go into that shamatha, and that's Mahayana. That's higher. That's a practice of bodhisattvas who want to save the world. Okay? All right. Dang. And based on that state of mind, powerful shamatha, focused on ultimate reality, right? And imbued with love for others. Because of that, dame tope shaktong gombe, you reach what's called shaktong. Okay? Don't say and say, shak tong. Okay? Shak tong. Vit, shak is vit. Tong is pashyana. Okay? Vit, pashyana. And in the southern Asia, Burma, Thailand, Sri Lanka, it got corrupted to vipassana. Vipassana is sweeping China right now. It's not even Goenkaji's vipassana. It's just some, I don't know who made it up. But it's all, everybody says, I'm doing vipassana. Or you say, what is it? No, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, vipassana is a corruption of vipashyana. It doesn't refer to the shamatha, which is the way it is. I would learn from Goenkaji. The Dalai Lama forced me and all the other students in Dharamsala when I was there to go study with Goenkaji. And we did, and it was fantastic. But anyway, what he calls vipassana is really shamatha. Okay? And then vipashyana is to use the shamatha to see emptiness. That's Vipashyana. Okay? And then our goal is to link Vipashyana with Shamata. Okay? You use high state of meditation to see emptiness directly. Okay? And then that's the union of Shamata, which you could call, sometimes I call it quietude, or what is it? I forget. All those kind of words. Some other word, I don't remember. It means quiet. SHIN means staying in a quiet state. You can call it quietude or something like that. What did he call it here? This translator. That was me. Quietude. Here I put quietude, okay? And in Vipashyana, you can call it insight, okay? Vi means special or extraordinary. Pashya means to see. Okay? So Vipashyana means extraordinary insight. Okay? Vipashyana. That combination of Shamata and Vipashyana, Gombe, if you practice that, Jipa Niki Chingwa Tadang Le Doer Gyur, and then he's done. That's his description of the NGAN Lembe Lungs, okay? Those bad guy pranas, okay? He says, if you can join insight with a deep capacity for meditation, then Jip Niki Chingwa Tadang Le Doer, you will be freed from the chains of the two obstructions, okay? Nyundip and Shidip, okay? Nyundip and Shidip. What are the two obstructions? One is all the negative emotions that prevent you from achieving nirvana, okay? And one is the very, very subtle energies in your being which prevent you from achieving omniscience, okay? Omniscience. We say in Buddhism that you can achieve omniscience, but not omnipotence. At least not in the normal sense of the word. Okay? So omniscience means you can bring your mind to a place where you can see all things in all times. Okay? Positive and negative at the same time. Okay? You can, and long before that, you can open your mind, your heart chakra, right, to a place where you can observe the future, 500 years out. You can observe other people's minds thinking about you. Like, I don't know. Anyway, it would be pretty weird, right? If you knew exactly what people were thinking, especially about you. If you could hear their thoughts directly. And then you can see all the places in the world at the same time. See, the human mind, under the influence of Shamata and Vipashyana, has the capacity to see everything in the world at the same time. Your mind already has that capacity. It's probably, you could say, a lot of Tibetan traditions, and technically it may not be true, but I like it, is that that's your natural state. Your natural state is that you're capable of, you can say that, you can even say that. Your natural state is that you can see all things in all times. You could watch everybody in the world cooking breakfast right now, or going to bed, you see, at the same time. Your mind, the natural capacity of your mind is that. Your mind naturally has that capacity. But it is dipa. Dipa means it's blocked from that capacity. If you can reach this guy sitting on the elephant, Shamata, combined with Vipashyana, then you can reach that capacity. You can unveil that capacity. And then you would return to your natural capacity, which is the capacity to see all things in all times. And that makes you useful. No, I mean, I'm always looking for people to help me with projects, like I meet somebody, I say, how are you? They say, fine. I say, I say, how's the retreat going? They say, I'm having a terrible time. I want to talk to you about my meditation. Then I say, do you know accounting? So, but somebody who can see everything, now that's useful. like, what's the lottery numbers for next week in Utah? And stuff like that, okay? Fundraising. All right. Okay, let's meditate one more time. And then we're not done with the NGAN lanky moves, okay? We're not done with those subtle pranas. We got to talk about where they flow, what they feel like, what it feels like when you shut them down. Watch your breath, please. Come to the golden mean. See the sky? Take sustenance from the calm and the quiet. If your mind leaves, bring it back. Come down to the mountains and the valley. Covered in sunlight. Wide, spreading. Come into the golden room. Sit with your teacher, bathed in golden light. Feel their hands on your head. The touch of their hands is a single point of meditation. Just focus on the touch. It's the only thing in the world that matters. Stay there, deeply contented, just for a few minutes. And slowly come back to this one. Relax.